want us to call for our 400,000 black men and women that are serving in the armed forces of America to come out and come home, for our fight is in America with the evil forces of racism. What we are saying to you now is that injustice brings its response. And this is why Thomas Jefferson said, "I tremble for my country when I reflect that God is just and that his justice cannot sleep forever." Why are you trembling? God has already entered into the fight. The plagues are already here, and they will get worse. And as you plan to kill our people, watch what God does.
Hey family, welcome back to my channel. So let's unpack what's going on across America. The black communities are finally seeing the bigger picture, the lies, the manipulation, the illusion of inclusion. But as the economy crumbles and power structures tighten their grip, many are asking the chilling question, is this awakening really happening too late?
Black Americans in the 1950s, okay, where there was true institutionalized racism. When my grandfather grew up, you were living in a segregated society. My grandfather could not go into white places, quite literally. Despite that, the Black Americans in 1950s under Jim Crow were outpacing white Americans in terms of economic growth, right? In every statistic, Black Americans are doing worse, right? So you would never make the argument if you were a sane individual that America has become a more racist country since the era of Jim Crow. So then you have to think critically and say, what changed? What changed was culture changed. Black Americans' families used to be together. Well, if you start to look and examine statistics between white Americans and Black Americans, you will notice some disparities, right? But disparity is not discrimination. Disparities can happen because of the decisions that are being made. We are not coming from two-parent households anymore. And the implications of what happens when you come from a broken household are severe. Actually, if you examine the statistics between Black American families that are together with a mother and a father and Black and white American families, there's virtually no disparity.
So last time I was up here, we was talking about how everybody thought Black American people didn't know what we was doing when we wasn't protesting and coming outside. But we literally are key players in this fucking game. Now that folk are starting to see that there's a reason why Black Americans kept refusing to protest, right? Because we know these people better than they know themselves. We keep telling everybody that, but everybody don't believe us, okay? We know these people better than they know themselves. We keep telling everybody that the playbook is in Black American history. That's the reason why they refuse to teach it to y'all, okay? Because if they were to teach y'all Black American history, they would literally teach y'all the ins and outs of white supremacy. Tactics, manipulation, psychological shit, and all the stuff that leads up to the major things that they do. So let's hone in on a particular part of Black American history, right? We're going to hone in on the fact that of what ended the Reconstruction era and the various different massacres and even the lynchings, right? The dark stuff that happened. Consistently, what was a precursor to them YT clear folk, the clear showing their goddamn ass was Black people doing well. That's the precursor. Black people doing well and Black people minding their business, right? That's one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is YT people not doing well. Okay? The Reconstruction era literally almost shifted the American economy to Black Americans being in the driver's seat of Black economics, right? Of equity, right? It was a huge wealth transfer that was getting ready to take place because after emancipation, right? Black people knew how to do all the jobs, okay? YT folk did not have the skills to compete or do any of the jobs. So, and then Black people were buying up land, like plots of land, buying up a lot of plantation owners were selling land to stay afloat and stuff like that, and Black people was buying it, okay? And so this is what gave rise to those really big Black towns that we talk about, very wealthy Black towns that we talk about, Black Wall Street, et cetera, et cetera. That's what popped all of that off. So massacres really were about, one, kicking Black people back into a place of like poverty, and two, stealing our shit. Okay? Stealing our shit. Taking our houses, taking our land, taking our businesses. They would literally terrorize the black people into leaving and then move their asses into business and then run the business or change the business into whatever they wanted to change it into because they were not doing well. Okay? If you track it, the Great Depression era, in that time period, whole bunch of terrorizing of black towns took place. Why? Because YT people were poor. It didn't really bother black people to be poor because black people already knew how to get by with really next to nothing. Okay, we gonna make something shake regardless, right? And we also still had wealthy, sustainable towns because our money wasn't actually in the stock market. We don't ever actually put our money in the stock market like that. So the crash really didn't affect us to the way that it affected everybody else. Outside of the super rural areas, black people really struggled in the super rural remote areas. So let's fast forward into today and why black people knew that these people were going to be trying to come into the white man fight back, because they are literally coded to believe that every problem they have, black people are the cause of it.
That there will come a time when black people wake up and become intellectually independent enough to think for themselves, as other humans are intellectually independent enough to think for themselves. Then the black man will think like a black man, and he will feel for other black people. And this new thinking and feeling will cause black people to stick together. And then at that point, you'll have a situation where when you attack one black man, you are attacking all black men. And this type of black thinking will cause all black people to stick together. And this type of thinking also will bring an end to the brutality inflicted upon black people by white people. And it is the only thing that will bring an end to it.
Hey family, welcome back, where we break down what's really going on behind the headlines. And now today's topic, it's a heavy one because for the first time in a long time, something's shifting in Black America. So people are waking up politically, socially, economically. But the question really is, did we wake up too late? Now, for decades, the system has lulled us to sleep, rocked us gently with entertainment, distractions, and false promises. And we were told representation was progress, that a few black faces in high places meant the doors of equality were finally open. But now many are realizing that those doors are just painted gold, locked from the inside the whole time, and the keys still in someone else's hands. Now, you see, what's happening right now feels like a rude awakening. Inflation's biting, jobs are vanishing, AI is replacing labor, and even government safety nets are shrinking. But when the alarm goes off, when we finally see how little power we've actually had, the system's already 3 moves ahead. Now, political elites are playing chess while the rest of us are still arguing over the color of the board. And it's not just about politics, it's about the ownership, or rather the lack of it. We don't own the tech, the media, or even the land. And when you don't own, you don't control. And so even though more black Americans are speaking out, building businesses, and even connecting the dots, the infrastructure we shouldn't have built decades ago, that's still missing. And so here's the bitter truth: that waking up is only half the battle, and the real challenge is acting fast enough to undo decades of damage before the window of opportunity closes for good. And because while we are just starting to question everything, others have already built fortresses around the answers. So family, the question isn't just, are we awake? It's, are we really ready to stop being spectators in our own story, ready to create, invest, and even rebuild? Because if we don't move now, this awakening might just turn into another moment that fades into history, and history doesn't wait for anyone.